All right, everybody. Today we're going to talk about adding decimals. So, when you are adding decimals, it is really important to line up your decimals. So I have pom-poms. See, they kind of dangle. I have some actually up on my front board in my classroom. But the reason I have them is that when you hold them up, gravity takes hold and the decimals automatically line up. So one of the most important things about adding decimals, and we'll get to subtracting decimals later this week, is that you need to line up your decimals. Now, technically you've always, and really it's lining up place value. Technically you've always been doing that. If we were to take the number, even if we had a whole number like 13 plus 27, right? The 3 and the 7 are both in the ones place, and so they're lined up. And the 1 and the 2 are both in the tens place, and they're both lined up. So if I were to add this up, 3 plus 7 is 10. Regroup, 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So the answer would be 40. Now, the same as if I had 1 and 3/10 plus 2 and 7/10, what I would be doing is still lining up the place values. So the 3 and the 7 are in the tenths place, and the 1 and the 2 are in the ones place. So when you see a problem written horizontally, so side to side like this, you need to rewrite it vertically, up and down. So 1 and 3/10. Now, sometimes what I like to do, so that I remind myself of my little pom-poms here. See how they are going to line up here? So 1 and 3, and it's hard when my stuff is face down. Usually I'm up at the board and my pom-poms just kind of hang with gravity, but they're not really doing that because I'm doing this on the floor. Anyway, 1 and 3/10, and then 2 and 7/10, my decimals are still going to line up because my ones place is still going to line up with my ones place, and my tenths place is still going to line up with my tenths place. So when I add this up, 1 plus 3 is, or sorry, not 1 plus 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. And my decimal still lines up right there. Okay? So the important thing about this is to remember to line up those decimals. So when I have this, like this, for example, there we go. They're lined up. So let's say I have, now if you had money, let's say $1.27 plus 46 cents. Almost can't see it. It's almost off my screen. The decimals sort of line up pretty naturally because you have the same number of place values after the decimal. So with money, it sort of naturally lines up, and you may have seen this before in younger grades. So $1.27 plus, there we go, 46 cents. So 1 and 46, or 0 and 46 hundredths. So these are going to naturally line up when you have money. When it gets a little tricky is when you have place values that aren't the same behind the decimal. So let's add this up. So 7 plus 6 is 13. Carry my 1. 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. My little yellow pom-pom is a little too far down here. And then 1 plus 0 is 1. So we get $1.73. Okay, so my little pom-poms, I usually refer to these throughout the year as pom-pom problems because it gives everybody sort of a quick reminder that to line up those decimals. So if you ever come up and ask me, should I line these decimals up? I will say, this is a pom-pom problem. So that means you're going to line up the decimals, okay? And my decimal pom-poms live on my board in my classroom. And I might have to make a second set for the other room. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. Let's say I have the number 27 and 3/10 plus 4 and 73 hundredths. Now, again, you're going to need to write this vertically because right now it's side to side or horizontally. You need to write it vertically, up and down. So the way I would write this, and one handy hint that I usually do is I set up my problem with my decimals already there, just as if my pom-poms were there, okay? And I always write the symbol of what my operation is so I don't forget. So 27, and 3/10. So 27 and 3/10. And then my next one is 4 and 73/100. So 4 and 73/100. Okay. Notice that because I lined them up, there's not a place value here. There's not a digit there. So what I often do, and what I tell people to do, is put a 0 there as a placeholder so that you don't accidentally add the 3 to the 3. Okay. So now if we add these up, 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. Bring my 1 over here. 7 plus 4 is 11. Plus 1 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I get 32 and 3/100. Okay, let's do 2 more. And then I'll send you off. I have a riddle for you today. And on the riddle, they're all written horizontally, so you are in charge of writing them vertically. Sorry, my voice is a little froggy today. So let's say I have the number 43 29/100 plus 85 and 2/10. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this vertically. So again, I'm going to put my decimals all set up here. So 43 and 29/100. Okay, now some people get worried about this, 85 and 43, right? If we look at our whole numbers, because this is addition, they can go either one, top or bottom. If it was subtraction, you would want the higher number on top. But in this case, we have 43 listed first, so I put it on top. And now we can put the 85 below it. So 85 and 2/10. Now notice, again, I've lined up these decimals. So I can put a 0 right here. 9 plus 0 is 9. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. So 128 and 49/100. Okay, one last one. Okay, let's do okay. 134 and 92/100. 349 and 28/100. So again, I'm going to put my decimals all ready to go here. Okay, I'm going to line up my problem around the decimals. So 134 and 92/100. 349 and 28/100. So now we're ready to add. 2 plus 8 is 10. 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 1 is 12. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 3 plus 1 is 4. All right, so that is adding decimals. The big trick here is to remember to line up your decimals. I also want to see the problem written, and I want to see your regrouping, okay? That's what I need to see. Alrighty. Okay, head over to Google Classroom. You have a riddle today for me. It has a lion on it. So once you complete that, check your work and don't be a riddle ruiner. Once you finish the riddle, take a picture, submit it on Google Classroom, and make a menu choice. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.